This is not your usual kind of trading video. In fact, it's probably only going to show up on your feed at the right time when you're meant to see something like this. Otherwise, this is not even going to resonate for you. It's not even going to present itself as an optional viewpoint if you're not at this stage of your journey. But if it has landed for some reason on your page, then you're definitely going to want to stick around. I've read over 300 books in terms of self-development, esoteric nature, all of that kind of thing, creating your reality, law of attraction, law of duality, everything that could help give me an advantage in trading. After you go through that first self-development journey, so you read the Rich Dad, Poor Dad, you read the Tim Ferriss, you read the Tony Robbins. After you kind of go through that, you break through to the other side. Now you're looking for more of that esoteric knowledge, the stuff that the secret societies use, the stuff that's been handed on generation on generation on generation down to all of the people from the highest ranking families in the world. And when you dive into this world at the start, it can be very overwhelming. But what you'll find is that spirituality and trading merge perfectly together. And there's so much practical knowledge you can take from diving into the world of spirituality and pulling it out and applying it to something like trading. And if I'm going to be honest, I don't even like the word spirituality. I think it's lost a lot of its meaning through this new age revolution of using the word. Instead of spirituality, I use it as more of a concept of inner mastery. The teachings from the masters, the people who have mastered their lives, they have written in these books, they have transmuted their knowledge into information, and we can absorb it. And all we need to do is keep our mind open, and it relates perfectly to what we are doing on the charts. Firstly, a key point I need you to understand if you are approaching trading, if you've started and you're not yet profitable, if you're brand new and considering it, or even if you've been in this game a long time but you want to really master it, trading is an inner mastery game. It's not a money game. Most of us get this wrong. We definitely get this wrong at the beginning. I know I did, because we all come from the want and the love and the need of money. That's why we start trading. Otherwise, we wouldn't put ourselves through this. Trading, though, is an inner mastery game. 99% of us have come into this game, including myself, from the shine of materialism. You saw the guy or the girl in the Lambo, in the Ferrari, with the penthouse, with the Rolex, so much money they don't know what to do with. That's what lured you in, because you think, I want that for myself. Why can't I have that? The promise of freedom might be another stance. Someone traveling the world, laptop in hand, trading on their phone, doing it wherever, or just the monetary reward. You want to create a new life for your family. You need money to do that. That's why we're all here. We've been lured in by one of these points. And that's not a bad thing. Okay, that's not a bad thing. We need to improve our lives and learn these skills, and there has to be a driver. For me, it was absolutely the freedom and the ability to make unlimited money. That's what got me. If you do stay in this game long enough, you pay the time debt, you stick around, you work through the hurdles. These are the natural reward for following your process, for following the process of trading and paying the time debt. But you'll soon come to realize you're not playing a money game at all. You're playing a game of inner mastery. And the market will not pay you consistently until you master yourself. This is the main thing I learned. I spent 3 years struggling, failing, drawdown, losing money, and it was driving me insane. By year 3, I was ready to give up. I was ready to quit. I genuinely thought, this is not worth it. This isn't going to work for me. Either I'm not smart enough, or what I'm doing wrong, I'm just not getting it. I was always trying to chase the money, the profit, and it's hard to not do when you start this journey, but you have to understand the profit is part of the process. It's the outcome of following the process. If you can become far more systematic and treat this like a robot, treat this like a game that you are following step by step by step by step, increasing your ability level on level, the monetary reward will be there. It comes. But why it's evading you right now is because you're not focusing on the process of inner mastery, and it will not pay you. It will not pay you until you master yourself. It might pay you temporarily. You might get a spike, you might pass a challenge, you might get a payout, but to have that consistent money coming in, whether it's your own live account, consistent profit from cash, you need to master yourself. There's no way around it. We love the market at times. We hate the market at times. The funny thing is the market's merely a mirror. It's not good nor bad. It just is. And the market doesn't care about you and your feelings and your dreams and your desires. It doesn't punish you. It doesn't reward you. It doesn't manipulate you. It just simply reflects you. If you're an impatient person, it will show you impatience. If you are a greedy person, it will amplify your greed. And if you're a desperate person, it will expose that desperation. I've now had this theory confirmed to me after spending the last 2 years teaching others how to trade at a relatively large scale. I'm definitely not a huge educator by any means, but I've had a few hundred people come through my course and community, and I know out of a shadow of a doubt that 2, 3, 10 traders can take the exact same setup, like fully systematic. A plus B equals C. There is no need for discretion or interpretation. One will execute it cleanly as per the rules, as it's meant to be done. The other will hesitate, or move a stop loss, or close it early, or revenge trade if it's a loss. It is fascinating to watch this play out on a higher level. Is you can have a strategy, you can take my strategy. My strategy has actual backtested data. It is confirmed to be profitable, not by me manually backtesting it, but it has confirmed to be profitable because I've coded it and an algorithm has tested it, and it works. It will work, and if you followed the process, it would work. The problem is that most people cannot stick to the rules. They can't regulate their nervous system to be able to accept a win and not get euphoric, and accept a loss and not fall into depression. Being able to stay level-headed is the name of the game. It's just this clean balance that you're aiming for at all times. It's fascinating. You can have the same chart, the same time frame, the same asset class, the same exact strategy, different internal states though between the traders, and that is going to be the key. The different internal states. That's why this is all a game of inner mastery. If you are failing, it might not actually be your strategy that's causing you to fail. I mean, there is a good chance that it hasn't been tested properly. If you've been told to backtest yourself manually, that's a lot. So you're going to have a lot less confidence than if it's been through a computer or an algorithm to be able to explicitly show you that if you did follow this exact setup, it would work. But the main thing does come down to your ability to stay calm and regulate your nervous system in that different internal state. And that's why having a technical edge is the first step. You do need that. But it's only the beginning. It's the tip of the iceberg. And the psychological impact is far deeper. And that's why you hear the traders harp on about it's a psychological game. Trading's 80% psychology. And this is true. I do believe it. I've been through it myself. I know the version of myself that trades very, very well when I'm doing all the things and I am clear and I am calm and I am regulated, to the version who has traded in the opposite condition of that. And it's a far different result. But what does that actually mean? Like just saying your psychology is the problem doesn't do anything. What we have though is hundreds and hundreds of books, teachings from masters that go back hundreds and hundreds of years. This kind of thing works in everyday life, but it is so important in trading because trading requires you to show up as this calm, cool, collected being. Otherwise you will not succeed. One great spiritual teaching and one great book you can read is The Kybalion. And The Kybalion is going to break down the Hermetic law of balance. There are many secret laws of the universe, but one of them is that everything is always seeking balance. Everything in the universe is always aiming to be at a level of equilibrium, of balance. There is a rule of duality that is always seeking that balance and always playing out that balance. Like you can't have light without darkness. You can't have risk without reward. You can't have happiness without sadness. You can't have wins without losses. If you win and it makes you euphoric, super happy, giddy, excited, you're jumping around, you're out of balance. If a loss destabilizes you, same thing, you're out of balance as well. That kind of like motion where you're going like a wave up for euphoria, oh my god, trading is amazing, it's so exciting, to you take a few losses, you're on a losing streak, you blow a proper account, trading's the worst, this is a scam, blah blah blah. That constant motion is the reason why you can't get ahead, and the reason why you keep falling off and spiraling down. As everything you feel, you put yourself into this fantasy of the future when you're riding the wave high. You need to balance yourself out. If you don't balance yourself out, the universe will do it for you. Both reactions are a form of attachment. Neither, you don't want to be overly optimistic and euphoric, and you don't want to be overly depressive. Both reactions are a form of the attachment, and most traders think that the goal is to maximize winning. It is absolutely not. The goal is to stabilize your nervous system. If you can be the type of trader who remains centered in gain and loss, profit and drawdown, you become dangerous. You become unstoppable, because the law of balance is at play in the markets. It's at play everywhere. Everywhere, in nature, in your society, in life, in politics, in business, and especially in the markets. That balance is always in play. Expansion and contraction. Impulse, pullback. Profit, drawdown. It's very simple. We have premium, we have discount. We are always moving to find that fair value. Buyers and sellers are in the markets are always fighting to get to that level of fair value where they can agree that that price is the price of gold and everyone's happy to pay. And every day in every session, the markets move up and down in cycles to find that balance. And it literally expands across every single thing in the world, every single thing in life, every single thing in nature. And you cannot eliminate one side of the polarity. You can't have a fantasy that you're always going to win and you're never going to experience loss and drawdown. You can't have a fantasy that you're always going to be on a winning streak. It's just not going to work. When you stop fighting the loss and you accept it fully, you will realize how much better your execution gets. You'll realize how much better your management gets. And if you don't aim to balance yourself, the universe will do it for you. If the law of balance and the law of duality, if that has to step in from a universal perspective, meaning you're not balancing yourself, it is always far more intense. If you can get into the mindset and the practice where you can bring yourself back to equilibrium, you're always going to have a better time. So if you finished a week or a session or a day, depending on how you structure your trading, if you finish that session in drawdown and that makes you sad and upset and you feel like you had a really bad day and you are, really doubting yourself and you're really riding that low, we need to have a system in place. And this is a system treat yourself like an athlete, treat yourself like a professional athlete. You go in and you have a system that brings you back up. Whereas you can find the positives and the lessons and the losses, so you can negate that feeling and bring yourself up to equilibrium. Or it's something external that is really just going to calm you down. Go outside, get that sunlight in. If you are sitting on the charts all night, getting the blue light into your eyes, invest in some blue light blockers. If you're not doing enough movement, if you're not getting that sunshine, if you're not eating properly, if you are not meditating or at least doing some breath work and stabilizing your nervous system, you can't perform and you can't expect yourself to perform at that balance. You have to be able to doing all these things. I think the trading is a phenomenal opportunity. It will change your life if you give it the respect it deserves. You have to treat yourself, though, like an athlete, like a professional. Win or loss, at the end of every week, I sit down and I reflect. If I have had a really good week, I need to balance myself down. I need to make sure I start the week again with a clean slate. No matter how much I've won or lost, I'm either bringing myself up if I have been in the losing period and I need to restabilize myself at balance, or I'm bringing myself down. If I've had an incredible week, made lots of money, lots of profits, I need to bring myself down. I need to clear both sides so I can be a poised master, an inner master of myself, and I can look objectively and make good logical decisions. It is going to have a process specific to you depending on what you do. We are blessed as traders. We don't have to trade. We are forced to not trade on the weekends. Friday turns off, I can't trade anymore. I have 2 days where I'm literally forced off the computer. I am forced into nature. I am forced to spend time with my loved ones. And you can do the things that is going to regulate your nervous system and bring you back to that level so you start again. If you had a bad week and then you spend the entirety of the weekend freaking out and backtesting your system for hours and hours and hours and hours, trying to find the next holy grail or trying to find where it all went wrong, you can just have a bad week. And that's okay. That's fine. That's not going to help. And I've been there and I've done it. I only share from experience because I've done it. But you're better off going and doing something that's going to fill your cup up. And if that's spending time with your family, if that's going to the beach, if that is going and having a meal out, I don't know what you do, but do something that's going to bring you up rather than just spending another 10 hours on the charts frying your brain. The next part of the trading journey is the ego phase. Specific. It is talked about a lot in a lot of spirituality teachings, and every serious trader goes through it. Anyone who is a professional trader or classes himself to, make most of their money from trading has gone through the ego phase at some point. And at the beginning, you believe you just need the right strategy. So there's that, strategy hopping and finding what, I find the secret sauce here and I find the secret sauce there, and you think it's the whole holy grail of it. You think you found the holy grail, right? Like, okay, we did a backtesting session, I got like 90% win rate, or this dude on YouTube said I can get an 87% win rate if I do this strategy. And you do it, you do the backtesting, it looks good, you execute in the live markets, and you get humbled. You might break your rules, you over leverage, you overtrade, you chase things, and it's genuinely not because you're stupid or that you can't do this or this isn't for you, but it's because your ego is running the show. Your ego is in the driver's seat and it's controlling your decisions. It's very realistic that you're showing up to trading with this subconscious need to be right. And you not only need to be right, but you want it to be done quickly, and you might have something to prove. Like perhaps your spouse doesn't believe in you, or your work colleagues don't believe in you, or maybe you were told you wouldn't amount to anything as a child, or there's someone who doubts that this is a real thing, and that then making you feel lesser. So you need to be right, and you need to prove something, and you need it to happen quickly, right? You want it to happen quickly. Trading will just expose all of it. Trading will expose all of your flaws. It's going to shine a giant light on your ego, and that's why most people quit. Honestly, most people quit because of that, and they don't actually want the inner mastery that it takes to be a success in this industry. They want fast money. They want quick money, they want quick wins, and they want to show that they can do something that others can't. Trading is a lot more normal now, but when I started 10 years ago, there wasn't many people doing it. There certainly wasn't many females doing it. Now it's become a lot more common, but unfortunately, like, this kind of stuff is still not understood. And we're still playing this game of strategy hopping and trying to pass platforms quickly and game the system, where if you just focused on inner mastery and you focused on like doing the small things within inside yourself, naturally the profits will come. It's part of the process. Another brilliant teaching, especially part of the Kybalion and the Hermetic principles, is the law of cause and effect. There is no randomness in your behavior. Nothing you do is random. Every outcome has a cause. If you yelled at someone who cut you off in traffic, there is a cause behind why you did that. If you entered outside your plan today, there is a cause. If you sized up emotionally, there is a cause. If you ignored your plan altogether or your checklist, there is a cause. Blow up that prop account, there is a cause, right? We get in the picture. The market is neutral, but you must respond with discipline. Because it just exists, it just is, it's just doing its job of facilitating transactions between buyers and sellers, you must respond with a disciplined mindset. You can't blame it. And when you take radical ownership of the fact of cause and effect, you stop blaming the conditions, right? Like, oh, the markets are terrible today. Oh, the conditions are terrible. It's like, no, the markets just are. They just exist. They are just facilitating the orders. That's all they're doing. You're unable to notice certain things, or you're unable to stick to your plan, or you're so close to passing a prop so you take trades you shouldn't. You're doing something that has an effect. The moment you go, I am where I am in my trading journey, good or bad, is because of me and me alone, then nothing's got control over you anymore, because then you can fix it. I do think if you stay in the game long enough, then it will shift over time anyway. Like, even if you didn't watch any of these videos, you didn't do any of the internal work I'm talking about, if you're dedicated to just being a trader and staying in this industry, something will have to shift. Like, you'll get so sick of yourself eventually that you will have to figure out what it is and make those shifts. You'll stop chasing and you'll just stop reacting. Like, you will. It does happen. I feel I had some really good mentors that shared a lot of this stuff with me early on, but I just didn't quite grasp it. Like, it just went over my head and I was blind and my ego was really ruling the roost. And eventually, after so much pain of losing, I had to make a change. I just had to do something different. And then this is where all this kind of like unraveled for me, and that's where it started changing. You think in probabilities is the number one. Thinking in probabilities is the best mindset you can have. You need to think in the probabilities. You need to know the probabilities of your strategy. You really need to know what the probabilities are. If you have really good data on your system and on your strategy, that's the whole first part done. You don't have to worry, because that, so you got the probabilities, okay, 65% of the time I'm going to win. I'm going to win. If I see this, this, and this, no discretion, 65% of the time I'm going to win because I've got the data to back it up, then you know all you have to do is execute it. And execute without the drama. That's your job. That's your job. And then detach from the outcome. Because you are always trying to do this quickly. Like, I find that the goal setting around trading is really warped and wrong. You shouldn't be setting goals to pass a prop account. You shouldn't be setting goals to say, this quarter, I want to have made $10,000 from trading. Like a huge question I get with people interested in like learning from me is, how long is this going to take? How long on average does it take to pass a prop, or will it take me to get a payout, or will it take me to quit my job? And I mean, it is just entirely an impossible question to ask. I need to know your level of discipline. I need to know your accountability. I need to know how much time you can dedicate to this. I need to know, are you a beginner and we're starting from scratch, or have you been doing this and I need to completely rewire your brain? I need to know where your downfalls are, what kind of person you are. I can give you a system and I can show you based on last year's data what the probable outcome was of doing all these things and passing these challenges. And if you left it alone, it's a pretty good bet that somewhere within that realm is going to be what it is. But most people can't leave it alone. And most people can't let something play out. And they have to go through this journey. So it's completely impossible to answer that question unless I have more information about you as a person. I think the main thing I can just tell you and teach you and really advise is that the money that you are after and you are chasing and that you want is a byproduct of stability. It's a byproduct of being consistent, and consistency is a byproduct of discipline, and freedom is a byproduct of self-command. You can't have one without the other. It's about inner mastery. Learn from these teachers. If you need information, you need books, and you don't know even where to start in terms of this knowledge, put a comment and I will respond to every single one, and I will tell you where to go and what to read and where to start. But trading becomes less about the money as soon as you understand this, and more about who you become in the process. And that when you have that switch, you will look and you realize, okay, I'm actually making it. Like, oh, this is what I wanted. I'm making the kind of money I didn't used to think was possible. And because you've shifted your attention to focus on mastering yourself over just gaining profit. I mean, if you are struggling right now and that is you and you're on that journey and you're in the thick of it right now, I would be asking myself, not how do I make more money, or what better strategy can I use, or am I like, should I be on trading NQ or should I be trading gold? I'll be asking myself three things. Where am I unstable? Where am I attached to things and outcomes and processes? And where am I out of balance? I promise your impulses are your only real opponent here. It is you versus you. And once you master those, the market becomes simple. It's not easy by any means, but it is simple. Executing the trade is simple. You have a job to do. You show up, you do the job. You might win, you might lose that day. It doesn't really matter. You follow the process, you show up, you roll the dice, and you roll the dice, and you roll the dice, and eventually the probabilities play out in your favor. And that's when all the profits come.